Antarctica is the most remote and least populated continent in the world. It's a vast land of snow and ice, and its inhospitable climate makes it one of the most difficult places on Earth to survive in. Despite its extreme conditions, there are a few people who call this frozen landscape home. At first glance, it may seem impossible for anyone to live in Antarctica. After all, the average temperature in the interior of the continent is around -58 degrees Fahrenheit. However, the coastal regions are slightly warmer and some areas have been known to reach a balmy 32 degrees Fahrenheit. This makes it possible for a few hardy souls to brave the cold and make a home in Antarctica. The first people to live in Antarctica were whalers and seal hunters who arrived in the early 1800s. They set up hunting stations and lived in bunkhouses during the winter months. In the early 1900s, Antarctica began to attract scientists from around the world. They established research stations and lived in the continent for months or even years at a time. Today, there are about 5,000 people living in Antarctica. Most of them are researchers and support staff who work for one of the 60 scientific bases located on the continent. These bases are scattered throughout the continent, from the Antarctic Peninsula in the north to the Antarctic Circle in the south. The largest of these bases is the McMurdo Station, which is located near the coast of the Ross Sea. It's home to more than 1,200 people, including researchers, support staff, and military personnel. Other bases include the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, which houses about 40 scientists and technicians, and the British Antarctic Survey's Halley Research Station, which has a population of about 80. In addition to these large bases, there are also a few smaller research stations and camps scattered throughout the continent. These typically house just a handful of people, and some are only occupied during the summer months. The people who live in Antarctica must contend with extreme temperatures, powerful winds, and lack of sunlight during the winter months. They also have to deal with isolation, as the nearest town is over 1,000 miles away. Despite these hardships, many find the continent to be a fascinating and beautiful place. People living in Antarctica must also be aware of the unique environmental conditions. The continent is home to some of the world's most pristine wilderness and is a haven for wildlife. The Antarctic Treaty System was established in 1961 to protect the environment and ensure the peaceful use of the continent. So, while it may seem impossible to live in Antarctica, there are actually a few brave souls who make a living there. From researchers to support staff, they're helping to unlock the secrets of this icy continent and make it a better place for all.